Hey everyone, it's James at geometricharts.com, February 22nd, about 5:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. So first of all, the video is not investment advice, and then second of all, it's probably going to be a fairly short video, not like Wednesdays when I went on about a 10-minute video. But anyways. Just real quick, I got a couple different things going on. Like, we can see clearly the momentum is dying during the entire rally up, right? Nothing new. It happens every single Bitcoin rally. Everyone's convinced. Again, I'm seeing ridiculous projections out there because every single time this happens, everyone acts like it's the bottom. It's not that I want to be like the thorn in the side to the cryptocurrency market, but it just is what it is. And like I said on Wednesday's video, if it looks like a pig, it smells like a pig, squeals like a pig, chances are it's a pig. And Bitcoin is pumping higher, but while it's doing that, the momentum is dying out. And we have a false breakout here, and we have essentially a new setup of a negative line, showing that as Bitcoin is pumping higher, there's no strength behind it. So less and less people are showing up to buy it at this price. And clearly we see that with the dwindling in volume as well as price is pumping. So this is something that I just said, this is just keep an eye out on just the basics of technical analysis. Everyone wants to get all hyped up on these patterns and everything else, but it's just simple energy between buyers and sellers. And if that energy is weakening, well, then it's going to have to either consolidate to rebuild, or it's going to have to correct to come back down to meet the demand. And the demand is clearly not up here. So I don't think necessarily Bitcoin's ready to roll off a cliff and die. The futures market closed today, so not much happened, but it's pretty much normal for every single Friday. I think the last Friday was a good Friday, but most Fridays are pretty dull. And then we go into the weekend where most of the moves that do happen get zeroed out by the end of the week and by the reopening of the futures market Sunday evening around 5 p.m. or at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then going into Monday morning. So I still think that Bitcoin is trying to find some strength to push up again. I think what's happening here is that this pump is doing everything it can to really stretch the bullish sentiment as far as possible. And that sentiment has skyrocketed over just the past few days, even just the past week of Monday through now, Friday. So that sentiment's cranking up. The volume came in hot and heavy. I mean, 10.4 billion in 24-hour transactions, given the data is absolutely correct. But we're just going to go with it and say it is correct. And now we've kind of just drifted back down to about 7.6, poking up to about 8 billion. Now the question is, what starts to happen over the weekend? I think Bitcoin is going to try to muster up the strength to make one more push. Again, stretching that sentiment, or pushing that sentiment, I should say, as far bullish as possible, leading to a trap and then a deeper decline. Now the question is, and I talked about this in my prior videos too when I was covering the 6,000, is that a lot of these moves, especially this move right here, looked very convincing, and even this move did. I think it might have. I'd have to go back to my videos, but the point that I'm trying to make is that they looked convincing. It looked like the bottom may have been in. We had a massive influx in volume, and the way I talked about it was that, okay, if this is the bottom and the market is going to head higher, then the correction should just be a deep corrective move due to just a massive profit-taking event. Imagine if you bought down here and now you're selling up here, you're taking a very big profit, and that's what the big money is lining the market up for. So what you have is a profit-taking event and then a move back up. That profit-taking event can be like a 50% retracement. It can be a 618 retracement. It can be as deep as a 786, but I don't like to see 786 because by the time it reaches a 786 retracement, something else is happening in the market. The market's going to collapse out. Very rare there every turnaround from there. Some of the altcoins can do that because they're so thinly traded that the markets can swing. That pendulum swings like it's just absolutely out of control with some of these alts. So you have to kind of factor that in. But with Bitcoin, if we start giving back more than like a 50% retracement, then red flags start to go up, especially like we've seen in the past where Bitcoin makes these giant moves up, very convincing to everyone, and maybe we make another leg up, and then all of a sudden, boom, like a bowling ball through a wet paper towel, and it's happened every single time since the 20,000 top. Yet I keep seeing these ridiculous projections out there, and I know why people are doing it, because they want to attract new viewers, subscribers, etc. Everyone's so fixated on making a little bit of money on YouTube to where they're just literally lying to people about these crazy projections, and they have nothing to back it up with. And the reason why I try to post these videos is not that like I'm the god of like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, but a lot of what I've said in the past has ultimately ended up coming true for this market. And I'm not trying to stroke my ego or anything, but when you start seeing the same thing over and over and over and over again, you can't help but kind of just say, hey, guess what? Everything's lining up again. That pig is squealing. That pig looks like a pig. It smells like a pig, you know? And you just can't help but say, look, there's a pig, but everyone else is saying, no, that's a princess or whatever you want to call it, a unicorn. Doesn't matter. So that's why I put these videos out there. It's not that Bitcoin's topping out, it's going to $0. It's just be very careful at this moment in Bitcoin if you're looking to trade Bitcoin or any of the other alts, because this market is looking the same way it's looked like in the past. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I'm trying to say with this video, and I just showed you the momentum, how it's died out the entire journey since we made this low right here, and we made a higher low, and now we're trying to pump higher. Well, guess what? Those nasty giant red downtrend lines and momentum have been carried on for a very long time through this whole time. So if Bitcoin's able to bust through that, make a good size corrective move just as a natural profit taking event and pump back upward, then maybe we have something else happening in the market. And maybe the rest of my videos in the future can be bullish and we can talk about some higher numbers. But as of now, it's just the biggest thing I can say right now is just be very, very cautious. And if you do not use stops on your trade, definitely use stops. Again, it's not investment advice, but you could be in a rude awakening just like everyone was during here, during here, during here, and during here. And sentiment is extremely high, like it was here, 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 up here, even right here. So I just don't want people to take a nasty drawdown and then you turn into a long time holder and it turns into just a nasty trade. So anyways, that's it. Video still went long. I don't mean to talk on a tangent like that, but just a lot of things are lining up. A lot of red flags are going off, and I see a lot of people getting hyped up, and it's great. It's great if the market's turning around, but if it's not, people are going to be for a rude awakening, and a lot of people are going to get absolutely wrecked very quickly, just like every other time in the past. If it is changing directions, and everything I've said just this past week and even the week prior to that, and this is the bottom of the market, there will be so many trades in the future, it will be absolutely ridiculous. If this is honestly turning around and a bull market is starting, there will be years worth of positive or long opportunities, I should say. So there's no reason to rush and jump to some conclusion based on some individual just throwing some ridiculous, like Bitcoin's going to like $7 trillion by the end of next year, and not having some type of strategy for the downside, especially when this pump looks literally identical to a T to every other pump and dump in the past. So that's pretty much it for Friday. Sorry for making a long video. I appreciate your time. I just try to put these videos out there. I know some of it's redundant, but the whole damn market's been redundant since 20,000. So I don't know how else to say it. But again, I'm going to keep saying it until something changes to help people, and that's it. And if you don't like it, then don't listen and go somewhere else, because there's a lot of people that do benefit from these videos, or at least it acts like a yin and yang to what's out there. So it adds some balance to some perspectives based on what is happening in the reality of this market, like I've seen happen in other markets, and that's the reason why I started doing these YouTube videos. So if you do like the content, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Again, I really appreciate your time, especially if you hung in this long. It's already 11 minutes. I did not mean to go this far, but I will talk to everybody on Monday again for my next video. And if you're new, my videos are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.